What a fat head. Yeah.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. James Bryce, who is with UK Trade and Investment Authority. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Praveen Gandhi.
Because I'm a seeker.
And last but not the least, I would request Mrs. Suhasini Kirloskar, who has been such a avid sponsor of the Nurture program and well-wisher of TiE.
The Puneri Pagadi that we presented to our guest today has a long tradition of being worn by stalwarts in the freedom struggle and scholars since ancient times. And we're very happy that we are able to present this as a memento from Pune, a pagdi, a head gear with a different shape. The memento that you're carrying also has been designed by one of our members, which depicts the uphill climb that an entrepreneur does and how TiE does a number of things to help and create that foundation. So thank you very much for being here, all of you. Ashok is a wonderful speaker and we're going to hear him very shortly. Praveen has been my first boss, but I don't hold that against him. But more importantly, he is the chapter champion for Pune chapter, and he connects us with the TiE Global, blesses us with lots of resources that become available to Pune chapter. And James, although we have always been talking to Suhasini, but we know that the UKTI's commitment to initiative like this, not just in Pune, I've seen UKTI supporting TiE activities pretty much across India, and we really appreciate that, and we hope to have this connection in the future too. We are here to witness what we call as a graduation of the mentees that just presented. So without further ado, I would like to get the program started and invite Ajay to talk about the Nurture concept itself, and he has been the leader of this initiative. At TiE Pune, we actually are trying to create initiative leaders, and members and charter members congregate around the initiative leader to take a particular initiative forward. Ajay has been a driving force behind this initiative, and he has led the team of the mentors in a very effective way, and we'll hear from him about the Nurture itself. Ajay?
So ladies and gentlemen, when I witnessed those 7 teams present their businesses to us, I can't really describe the emotions that were going on, because not to take anything away from them, but I remember the first time we heard them and how we had to go through the whole process of polishing the presentations and so on. Great job, guys. Very well done, I must say. Thank you very much. You made my day. So, just a couple of words on the Nurture initiative. As you know, TiE Pune has had a mentorship program for quite some time, and I've been part of that along with a lot of other charter members. And during that, we found quite a few things which were kind of common to a lot of the mentees. So, I remember Vishwas, myself, and a few other charter members were sitting in my office, and we're just chatting about what can we do about it. So for example, most of the mentees would say, hey, I have a business plan, but my biggest problem is I don't have money. I need money to get started, and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, in events like this, when we meet investors or angel or venture capitalists, etc., they would come and say, "Yeah, koi company dila, I need to find some companies to invest in." And we figured there was something wrong with this picture. Obviously, they need to be connected. But at the same time, we found that money was perhaps not the only problem that startups or initial stage companies face. There are plenty of other things that also need to be worked on. I mean, it's like some companies would come and say, "Yeah, if I get 5 crore rupees, I'll turn this into a great business." And we kind of said to, "Look, even if you get 500 crore, it's not the money that's holding you back. There are a lot of other things that need to work on." So essentially, which meant that we felt that we need to have a very intense kind of association, intense engagement with select mentees. And from that, we thought about, okay, creating a program which is time bound, and we'll essentially take a few companies from stage 1 to stage 2. So all that was agreed upon, and then Vishwas calls me, and for all the entrepreneurs in the room, see how he did this. He said, "Okay, now Ajay, the monkey is on your back, you run it." So that's what leaders do. So, but then I had no issues with that. I said, because frankly, the team that I could count on was such an incredible team of mentors. I had no issues taking on that responsibility. And we started talking about how to go about doing it, and we came out with the announcement, and right here in this hall we announced it about 6 months ago, 24th February. The challenge was that it was a lot more popular than we believed. So we had more than 50 companies apply, and then we started saying, "Hey, we can't possibly do justice to all of them." And quite frankly, the whole initiative was to do justice. So you don't want to just mess with somebody and say take time away from them if you're not going to do justice. So we came out with a criteria. We interviewed practically all of them, and we selected a total of 8 companies out of the 50 plus. And the main criteria, I would say that we wanted to find out if the entrepreneurs knew where they are at this time. So for example, point A, are they able to identify where they are, and are they able to identify where they want to go? So the point A to point B journey is what we wanted to consider. And then of course we tried to assess whether this company has the bandwidth, and the management has the bandwidth and capability to lead the journey from this point A to point B. And then we selected these 8 companies, and we are really, quite frankly, I must say, we are proud of the choice, because all of them turned out to be great companies, and I think they all have the capacity and capability to be very good companies that we'll all be looking forward to coming from our ecosystem. So there were obviously some challenges, some takeaways, and I know Kiran is going to talk about the perspective from the mentors, and I know somebody's going to talk about the perspective from the mentees as well, so I don't want to preempt any of that. But it was interesting because it was the first time that TiE Pune and all of us had actually run a program like this. So there were quite a few learnings. We know what not to do when we run the program again. We know how we can improve the quality of mentoring. We also know how we can improve the expectation from everybody, etc. And I remember, this is a typical TiE charter member story, that when we launched the program, we had dinner upstairs, and clearly there's some people who came and asked me, "So why do you guys do this? So how much money does the mentee company pay for this?" And I would say, "Nothing." So, "Oh, okay, so mentors get equity stake in the company, right?" No, nothing. And so they said, "Oh, so what's the catch?" What catch? There's no catch. And truly, that's the story of a TiE charter member. Like Ashok mentioned the other day, that TiE is one place where charter members actually pay money to give back to the society. So that's pretty much how it was. And I must thank all the mentors who were part of our team, which showed great commitment, because there was a lot of time spent on this. And I'm sure all of you would agree that it takes significant time when you want to focus on something. So Mandar was the local villain for most of the families. Like somebody comes from abroad Friday night, and Saturday morning, instead of having breakfast at home, you have breakfast with the teams because you're doing some session that day. So, Mandar calls, wives kind of start worrying about it. So, but